I was playing at a music festival. I remember it really well. There, a lady came up to me called Molly Tanner, and she said to me, "You play very well." And I said, "Well, I sing as well, and I'd like to dance a little bit as well." I with my sisters did ballroom dancing, and so I was their partner. And then there was a tap teacher that came along, so I learned a bit of tap, and so I kind of got into it that way, really. And then we moved house, as I said. Anyway, Molly Tanner came to me at the music festival I was playing at, and she said, "You play well." I said, "Yes, I'd like to learn how to dance properly as well." She said, "Turn up on Monday morning, and you can play for the ballet classes, and you can take as many dance classes as you can go to." And within, I think it was about 5 months, 6 months of me doing that, she had landed me my first job. And then a year after that, I was in the West End at the London Palladium in a musical called Ziegfeld, which was at the time the biggest musical, most lavish extravaganza the West End had ever seen. So at the tender age of 19, I was in the West End. And as my career's moved on and I've, developed and changed, and it kind of has become something that I've done more and more teaching, and actually I've moved away from full-time acting, most definitely, and gone, actually the teaching route is where I really feel settled in at the moment. That's not to say I don't act anymore, because I still do, but it's most definitely the teaching is becoming more and more and more of a passion. And I suppose I've been a full-time teacher, I've not thought of it, for about, I suppose it's coming up to 10, 11 years now that I've actually done, it's been my job, if I was to call it a proper job. But having said that, it's interesting because now my take on acting and being creative is taking on a very different route, because now I'm creating a lot of work myself, and I'm involved in a company in Paris that's developing new work. And it's really enjoyable to have that part of my creativity come out as well. And it all has been fed from, the three major parts of my life, I suppose, which is my music as a chorister, my work as an actor, and my work as a tutor and a teacher. So it's all those three elements coming together have now enabled me to go, let's try and create something ourselves. So it's kind of a really extraordinary journey. And it sounds such a cliche, but I'm amazingly lucky, and I'm always grateful for everything that's happened. I can't believe that after, over 30 years of working, that no one's tapped me on the shoulder and go, "We've caught you out." I love teaching because it's not about me. It's about facilitating the students' learning, and as an actor, it is of course all about you and about how you have to work on your career, on your techniques, on your on your networking, etc., etc. And as a teacher, it's about putting all of that energy into something else. And there is nothing better than creating an environment for a student which is open, relaxed, trusting, and fun, above all fun, full of joy, that you can then facilitate the learning of the student to allow them to develop and become the best version of themselves that they can be. The ideal teacher would be someone who creates a sense of trust within the room, and someone that allows the student to develop and facilitate that learning and make it all about the student. Hard-working, focused, but full of joy. Someone who is up for having a play. Someone who is bold and brave and can fall over and get back up again and fall over again and get back up again and keep trying and keep being as bold and as brave as they possibly can be. Because through that, they leave their comfort zone every single time they do that, and they bring a sense of magic to the room.
Sei troppo alto.
Do you like my new t-shirt?
No, assolutamente non, fa schifo.
Why?
Perché? Perché è nera.
What?
E non importa se è una maglietta nera o è nera.
Good. So what do you mean? Brava.
I think as a teacher, what's very important is to understand that we're all colleagues. There is no difference between a student and a teacher. we're all part of a very, very big family. Some have been doing it for a long time, some have been doing it for a very short amount of time. But we most definitely are colleagues. We are all learning together. The joy for me was, as a teacher, was to lose the protective layer of, dare I say it, ego and fear, and actually bring the student into the process more, because that created a sense of openness and development. And I noticed by doing that, my students really started to flourish. And that's why I love being a teacher, is because I took myself out of the equation and made it all about the student, giving them love and just making it a sense of joyful play.
You have to be careful, gently, okay? So don't. No. So I want you to
It is a learning process, and how you learn is how you're taught to learn. That's why Father Beck, for me, trusted me to learn what I needed to do with his guidance. It wasn't I was never shouted at, I was never humiliated, I was never embarrassed. I was allowed to make my mistakes in a joyful environment. And I think that has set me up as a teacher. His teaching practices set up mine, but also I come from a world, namely the 80s and the 90s in the West End, of being bullied, being shouted at, being humiliated, being just having an awful time and getting less and less and less and less of myself. And actually, to be a creative artist, you must be more and more and more of yourself in an open way. And the way that can be achieved is through an open teacher who's not afraid to let go of the control. I think in terms of making mistakes, I think it's a fundamental rule of being a student. If you can't make a mistake as a student, where can you? And I think the bottom line for me is we are holding up a mirror to human nature. And being a human being, by its very nature, is full of flaws, full of mistakes, full of everything sometimes completely wrong. So, and I know that many students strive for perfection. And to strive for perfection is wrong, I think, because perfection doesn't exist. What I would suggest and encourage out of a student is to strive for excellence. Be tenacious, never give up, work hard, work hard, work hard, have fun, and never give up. It's bigger than you, it's bigger than all of us, and it's within all of the complicated elements of being a student, because there are too many to even mention. There is, you are allowed to make mistakes as a student. And I think that's what's important, allowing yourself to make a mistake and moving through it and enjoy the whole process. It always comes from you, because you're the people that I look out at. So if you were... I would be Nadia thinking at the beginning of the song, "You're just too beautiful." So, until the next time.